Hey, this is Shaman Jon Rasmussen. I wanted to just send you a quick video here reminding everybody that I'm still doing shaman sessions, mostly by Zoom and phone, also in person at times. And the work is just as powerful as it's ever been, and it's going really, really well. And I bring this up simply because I know I've been describing to people how I've returned to the Catholic Church, and I just want to remind everybody that the shamanism is not contradictory in any way. The Karo shamanism, I use the word shaman. It's a it's I chose to use that word because I thought it, even though it's in the Tungus language, right, of Siberia, that it really represents kind of the broadest envelope of this kind of work, right, which is to essentially free and empower people from influences from the past, the present, the future, just to be able to ask and receive more clearly, no matter your religion or no religion or beliefs of any kind. Shamanism is just it's particularly the Karo shaman, the way I was trained by the Four Winds Society, Healing the Lightbody School. It's just a beautifully powerful way to, in terms of me facilitating the work, using the training and the initiations that I've received. As I facilitate that work, it's definitely, bringing in the source, it's bringing in God, it's bringing in, all of my team. Like I've said many times, the angels, saints, Jesus, Mary, all the elements of my Catholic upbringing and my personal, religion. But it's also, bringing in all the elements of nature, which is also not contradictory in any way. It's not, the occult. It's not opening portals. It's not using, deals with other beings or false gods or idols or anything like that, right? It's simply using nature, the elements of nature to assist in facilitating that which you need to be freed of and cleared of energetically. It's like deep, psychology. I'm able to track, what's going on the soul level and help, essentially intercede. It's like intercessory prayer, like any kind of minister, priest. Shamanism is just so old, and at it's sort of the foundation of all of the other ways of healing and praying, and so it just forms a great foundation for the way that we do, the work, do the clearing, track what the real problem is, what's going on at the deepest level. A lot of times we think we understand what's going on mentally, with certain situations regarding our health, our relationships, our work, and our resources. But the shamanism that I practice and the gifts that I bring to the table allow us to figure out the subconscious beliefs and patterns, and sort of bark up the right tree. So no matter what else you engage in terms of prayer, religion, or none of the above, this certainly brings you in touch with your connection to source, your connection to God, to the universe, to whatever language, whatever words you want to use. And I remember I did a little video a little bit ago about the sign of the cross in the Catholic Church, how we point to our forehead and we say, it's in the name of the Father, and then the third chakra, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the lungs, and how that's saying, I want my vision to be of the highest vision, aligned with the mysterious ways of the universe or God. I don't want to assume that I know how I'm going to get the experiences I'm asking for. I'm going to let that come to me. So in this way, I'm aligned with essentially God's will. And then in the third chakra, so it's I am. I like to think of it as the I am. And then the third chakra is the one, the sort of God incarnate, and how that comes into the world and came into the world in the form of Jesus. And so we do the Father and the Son. We're basically saying I am one, or the one. And then the Holy Spirit, which is of course the energetic, way in which God and prayers are answered. And so I am one, and then this is the air that we all share. Every single being on the planet, every living thing shares the same breath, the same air. And that is also true with the Spirit, with this concept of the Holy Spirit. So when I do I am one with you. And so that's how I look at it. It's just another way to kind of understand things. It's the way that I operate. I like to understand things. And so you may remember in the past, I wrote this book all about the shamanism, and most people don't understand it. They think of sorcery, they think of the occult, they think of psychics and opening portals and working with all kinds of, other beings. And yeah, that exists. There is sorcery. There are forms of indigenous and paganism and all this kind of stuff that actually engages with that. Shamanism, the way I practice it, does not. It's a very pure. It's like being a surgeon or being a psychologist. You can be a Christian surgeon or a Jewish surgeon or an atheist surgeon or a psychologist or anything like that. These are techniques of the sacred, tools, basically. And so I just want to make that really, really clear. It's not its own religion. It's not any of those other things. It's really a set of tools. And that's all explained in the first book that I wrote, Dreaming Your World into Being. This is still available on Amazon in paperback and audiobook and Kindle. So I would encourage you, if you really want to understand why I use the word shaman, this explains why. And then, of course, my most recent book was to recognize, the common threads, to literally recognize all of the ways in which so many traditions on the planet, including science and psychology and all those things, share a lot of common beliefs or truths at the structural level, at the core level. And the way that they're talked about and the way that they're practiced, that's different, and that's beautiful. It's great. It's really great to celebrate all the different ways people choose to engage with the universe, with creation, with life on the planet. And so I've always felt very, very honoring and allowing and welcoming of all of that. And certainly within my shaman work, it's never been a problem with anybody. And people who've gotten sessions from me understand this. They've learned it. I've explained it. I have obviously a lot of videos about it on my YouTube channel and my website, and a lot of articles and things that go into great detail of what the work really is. And so just a reminder, I'm still doing the work. I will always do the work. It's what I do. The results have been amazing still. It's, of course, always been word of mouth based on results. And, it's as they say in a lot of these religions, you'll know it by its fruits, right? And certainly this work, I believe, brings people closer to their true nature. It brings people closer to the source. It brings people closer to spirituality. And certainly that is the goal, to enrich your life, to improve your quality of life. And of course, according to my Caro teachers, and how this also aligns with Christianity and Catholicism, the ultimate goal of humanity is to achieve that pure level of freedom and power that allows us to take the next step into Homo Luminis, beings of light, the next and in Christianity, it's the glorified body. It's heaven, right? And Jesus has shown us the way to do that in that context. So none of it is contradictory from my point of view and my experience, and I am more than happy to continue to do the work. And I hope again that you can look up some of the things like my Dreaming into Being book, and of course the Common Threads book. And so all of that is available on Amazon, and my website soulalgorithm.com has links to everything. So thank you, and I look forward to hearing from you. And just wanted to clarify that because, I'll just finish with a story. When I first started shamanism 25, almost 30 years ago, and we were told, don't call yourself a shaman, just life coach, just keep it like not controversial. And I thought, yeah, but it's so much more than that. It really is the person who's born. It's not unlike the Catholic saints. It's not unlike people who have always been born in every culture and every tradition since the beginning of humanity with gifts, the ability to see, the ability to facilitate, to intercede for others, to ask and witness healing. And so, but when I first started that, and I thought, I'm just going to call myself that because it's really the perfect word. It's a lot easier than explaining it paragraph by paragraph. Well, of course, I got attacked. I got attacked by Native Americans who, again, it's just a lack of understanding that this exists all over the world. And to some of these people that attacked me, it was, you're not Native American, and you're a white plastic shaman, cultural appropriation, and all that stuff. And although in my DNA, going back in parts of Europe, I do have ancestors who were shamans, were medicine men and women in different languages, different cultures. They didn't understand that so much, but I just had to try and help educate them on that, and then of course Christians thought I was working with the devil or something like that. Of course, that's like the opposite. It's actually a big part of my work to actually clear negative energies and entities from people in the shamanic work as well. So it lines up very well with the exorcists and what they do. And, and then science thought it was just woo-woo and weird, and none of this stuff is real. So I kind of expect people who haven't studied it deeply to not fully understand. That's just normal, and it's okay. And I don't have a problem with it. But now it's like, now I'm getting excited again about the Catholic religion, and kind of the same thing's happening, right? Christians don't like Catholics. They think they're doing pagan stuff, which is, again, I think kind of more of a lack of understanding. I love this. There's this woman that I follow on Facebook, Anna Munley, Munley, that does a wonderful job of educating people on that. There's lots of books. There's, this book about how the healing happens. When I learned Vianna Steibel's theta healing work, it was the techniques that Essenes used to help do healing, and so it really aligned with the Jewish and Christian beliefs. I think I've shared a couple of other books I love. There's this wonderful one deeply about Catholicism. There's this one about the Mass. And so, I just encourage people to learn, grow, learn more about everything, I spent my whole life learning about all of the religions and philosophies I could get my hands on. And that's why I ended up writing Common Threads, was because it was the culmination of this recognition of, hey, we're not that different. There's a tremendous amount of unity in the fundamental structure and reason why people practice what they practice. And to me, that kind of has to be the case, because we are Homo sapiens. We're still the same as we were 300,000 years ago, and then according to the Caro prophecy and the and the biblical prophecy, we're going to have 1,000 years of peace when we have that Christ consciousness, when we develop the Homo Luminis, the glorified body, and that takes work. It takes a lot of work, no matter how you do it. I've always said there's thousands of ways of doing it. I just am attracted to the ways that I personally find have been effective and efficient and make sense to me, in a way that I could practice it sincerely. And that's where I'm at. So nonetheless, as always, I'm not the kind to insist that this is the only way or you have to do it this way. I don't believe in that. But I do appreciate what works and what works for me and what produces results. And so that's why I get excited and passionate about things. So and shamanism is absolutely that in terms of how effective it can be. The way, like I said, it's not sorcery, it's not disempowering, it's not engaging with demonic energies or anything else other than God, source, our ability to become Christ-like or Homo Luminis. I've always said the Karo were the most Christ-like people I've ever met living today on the planet. So very much like the saints of the Catholic tradition. So that's, I hope that helps. Find me at, Jon@dreamingintobeing.com, my email. I'm very happily still doing a lot of work, a lot of sessions, and it's going really well. And I just wanted to make sure people understood that. So, all right. Thank you. Have a beautiful day.